Welcome back. You're with us on the Newsroom. India today has been exclusively able to speak to the doctor who conducted the post-mortem on the 8 SIMI activists who were killed by the Madhya Pradesh police. The police says this was a genuine encounter. Several questions have been asked. The doctor, in his post-mortem report, has revealed that all the bullet injuries are at close range, that most of the bullets have gone through the chest. Now remember, you can have bullets going through the chest only if you have a very, very trained sharpshooter taking a shot from a very far distance. Or you can have bullets going through the chest when people are killed at close quarters. Now, the Madhya Pradesh police says we've done nothing wrong, but the post-mortem report is full of very explosive questions. Here's the story.
8 dead under trials, a scandalous mystery over their jailbreak. And 100 questions raised about whether the encounter was genuine or a terrifying orchestration. India today tracked down the doctor who conducted the post-mortem on the bodies of 8 SIMI suspects who were gunned down in an encounter on Monday. Dr. Ashok Sharma is the head of the medical legal department of Bhopal's Gandhi Medical College, and he told India Today that all the SIMI suspects have bullet wounds, mostly in their upper bodies.
क्लोज रेंज से मारा है सर, ये नहीं बनता, ये तो ऑफिसर वाले।
If wounds are only on upper body, was suspect shot at close range? Dr. Ashok Sharma also says that most of the bullet wounds on the bodies of 8 SIMI suspects were in the chest and the abdomen.
All of them have died of gunshot, and the gunshots are in the chest and abdomen. बाकी सर ये भी पता चला कि मैं बाहर निकली है गोली, दूसरी साइड से बाहर निकली, कुछ इस तरह का तो निकलती है गोली, सर लड़की बाहर निकलती है, कुछ अंदर जाती है।
If there was a fire assault, why are bullet wounds only above the waist? India Today has also accessed the post-mortem report of the alleged SIMI terrorist killed in the encounter. The report says that the bullets pierced through the bodies of the suspects, and while there were some splinters found on their bodies, most wounds on the bodies of SIMI suspects are only above the waist, something that raises big questions about the genuineness of the encounter.
And what about the post-mortem report, sir?
There are more questions than answers that surround the encounter of the 8 SIMI suspects. But for now, everything seems to be pointing towards a cover-up.
Questions over the Bhopal encounter continue to plague the Madhya Pradesh government and the police. Now, the village sarpanch, who claims to be an eyewitness to the encounter, says that the police asked him to delete the video footage. So why did the police ask him to delete this footage? These are the things which are casting a shadow on this Bhopal encounter.
Bureau Report, India Today.
The post-mortem report raising very serious questions about what went on 10 kilometers away from Bhopal Central Prison. Justice Markandeya Kajju is my special guest on the Newsroom tonight. He's squaring off against the BJP spokesperson and advisor to the Madhya Pradesh government, GVL Narasimha Rao. I want your analysis first, because you've looked at encounters in your career as a judge, sir. When the post-mortem report says that most of the bullet injuries are to the chest, what do you make of it? Does it suggest that the Bhopal police is like the army, special forces commandos, capable of taking very precise shots at long distance? Or is that a very damning indictment of how this encounter was conducted at close range?
Rahul, give me just 2 minutes time.
Yes.
I wish to make 4 points. Firstly, these people were under trials, not convicts.
True.
Now, everybody who has any idea of realities in India knows that often people are falsely implicated and often police manufactures false evidence. Recently, one Nasir, He was found innocent by Supreme Court after 23 years in jail. So some of those 8 people may have been actually terrorists, some may not have been terrorists. This had to be established in a court of law. You can't just say declare them terrorists and bump them off. Secondly, as regards Ram Prasad Yadav, no doubt there was a brutal murder, but then firstly you have to identify which out of the 8 people were involved in his murder. Maybe some were not. And then even those people have to be put up on trial. You can't just bump them off. Thirdly, I have no doubt at all this was a fake encounter.
Why do you believe that?
For several reasons. Firstly, the Inspector General of the Anti-Terrorist Squad, Mr. Sanjeev Shami, said that these people were unarmed and the police suffered no injuries. The MP Home Minister said that these people had only spoons and plates. The videos, all of them show, one video shows 5 people on a hillock.
With their arms raised.
With their arms raised, and these policemen saying, control room, ye baat karna chahte hain, inko ghero. Thereafter, another video shows that people are on the ground.
And they're being fired.
Maybe some of them may have been alive even.
No, you can see his hand move up and down.
And bullets being pumped into him.
So you've set the stage for this debate. GVL, you were with us the first day, you said there's no evidence. Now we've got the post-mortem report. We've got the interview with the doctor who conducted that report. He says the bullets were all above the chest. Now, are you going to say that these are sharpshooters who are better than the Indian Army Special Forces commandos, that at a distance of more than 200 feet, they can hit only at the chest and nowhere else? Because if this were a real encounter, surely there would have been some bullets going past the leg, there would have been some bullets going past the head, there would have been scrapes. You can't have all bullets going into the chest. It makes no sense, GVL Narasimha Rao. This entire facade is now coming apart.
Rahul, I think there is always a temptation for the news anchors to decide the entire case in a manner of 30 minutes. And with due respect to Justice Kaju, he seems to be joining this tribe. He doesn't, without the
instead of giving me or Justice Kaju a lecture, why don't you answer our question?
No, I'm answering your question, coming to your question only. First of all, I think you have judged it to be fake even before any final reports came in. I think you'll have to stop this temptation, wait for the inquiry to happen. And also, I think Mr. Justice Kaju should tell me whether innocent people also kill a security guard and do an escape from a high prison. Is that the characteristic of a innocent
GVL Narasimha Rao, I think Justice Kaju made a very cogent case where he specifically asked you. GVL, why don't you listen to our question and then try and respond to what you're being asked? Don't go off on a tangent, because people who are watching can see through your delaying dilatory tactics. Answer the question that you're being asked. The question is this: the post-mortem report, a written official post-mortem report, government evidence, says that all the bullets were at close range. The bullets are to the chest, which means somebody stood over, and you can see that in the video as well. I'll ask our producers to pull out that video. Somebody is shooting at close range. The post-mortem confirms that. GVL, respond just to the question I'm asking you.
Rahul, I don't have a copy of the report, nor do you have a copy of the report. Can you show the report on television?
Can I show you the interview of the doctor who did that?
Can I get a say? No, I can't speak what you want me to speak. I will speak my position on this. Please have patience to listen to the answer. I'll give a very short answer. I think you cannot, even if there is a post-mortem report, which I have not seen, that cannot constitute the entire evidence. There is an inquiry that has been ordered and which will bring in all the circumstances that have led to this. You cannot, based on one report, no judge will pass a judgment. And without any evidence, no judge passes any anchor-like judgment. So let's have patience. There is an inquiry that has been ordered.
Justice Kaju, the BJP spokesperson arguing that just the post-mortem report by itself doesn't establish anything. That there's a whole host of corroborative evidence that needs to be put together, that all of us are rushing in to judge this a fake encounter. Give it time. Do you believe that a judicial probe would have been in order, or do you have faith in the probe that's been ordered by the Madhya Pradesh police?
No, I would have preferred a judicial probe, but there are judges and judges. You must have a judge who is absolutely independent, fair, who has a high reputation, because some of these probed by judges of High Court and Supreme Court, I'm sorry to say those judges were biased and they did not give correct reports. So I am very skeptical about many of these probes, even by judges, unless you have a correct. See, one thing you must know. In Prakash Kadam versus Ram Prakash Vishwanath Gupta, the Supreme Court has held that for fake encounters, death penalty must be given because this is in the category of rarest of rare cases. You see, this is people who are supposed to uphold the law.
Absolutely.
They are becoming murderers. Rakshak bhakshak ho gaya hai.
You can't have people who are supposed to uphold the law becoming murderers. I want to quote to you what the chief of the anti-terror squad of Madhya Pradesh said today. Sanjeev Shami says, okay, let me just quote to you what he's saying. He's saying over here that the men were not armed. Even if the police were not being fired at, they can use such force. He claims that the men were not armed. You saw one other person from the BJP, the jail minister, say that they had spoons and they had, they'd used thalis and turned them into some kind of weapons. They were not armed. So what is this encounter that is being spoken of? Now the ATS chief saying that they weren't armed?
Rahul, I think an inquiry will establish all the finality about the entire incident. But my worry is why this temptation to damn the police and to give a clean sheet to criminals who escape from a high security prison, kill a security guard. None of you seem to have a concern for it. You only want to shoot the police.
No one is shooting the police.
Let the inquiry, let the evidence available
He says you have, Justice
it.
Kaju, sympathy for the terrorists, not for the police.
May I answer this?
Yes, please.
Justice
and no innocent kills a policeman.
Now, may I be permitted to speak?
And
Yes,
that
Justice
itself
Kaju.
is a crime.
Justice Kaju.
Can I be permitted to speak?
Yes, sir.
Justice A.N. Mullah of the Allahabad High Court held long time back that the biggest criminal organization in India is the Indian police. Of course, that observation was expunged later by Supreme Court. But is it not a fact that your police does wasuli, does hafta, takes hafta, does custodial deaths, does rapes, does torture? Is it not to everybody in this country knows? How can you deny it? So don't give this high lecture that you are trying to demoralize the police. Police is already, by its misdeeds, demoralized.
Final response.
I have no respect
GVL
for the police.
Narasimha Rao.
Rahul, I would only like to tell the learned judge, sir, you have damned the police, and police doesn't have a glorious image. I accept it. But that's the state of affairs. But why do you damn every institution? You want to damn the police. You are damning the judiciary. There are many people who damn the media. So I think let's have some faith in the institutions. Let's have a proper an inquiry. Let all the facts emerge. And let the entire situation be known to people. Let's not rush to conclusions.
Yeah, but let's also not rush to defense.
Call it fake.
One second. If GVL, you had actually been more forthcoming and said, yes, it's possible that it's a fake encounter. It needs to be probed. It could also be genuine. The fact is, from the very beginning, the government has been going all out to make it seem as if nothing was wrong, that everything was in order. That raises questions. The post-mortem report, all the bullets going through the chest. Anybody with any understanding of how these post-mortem reports function and what that means would say they were killed at close quarters. And remember, when there's a more detailed report, you can also know.
Rahul.
1 second, I want a final word from Justice Kaju. At what distance were the bullets fired? Because if the bullets are fired from really close quarters against people who didn't have arms, that means you've killed them. There's no difference between what happens in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq and India there.
There's no doubt that this was a fake encounter. You see, some people say that these terrorists should be shot, no use putting them up on trial. Now, this is a very dangerous philosophy, because some enemy of yours may pay some money to the police, and a large section of the police is corrupt, and the police may declare Rahul Kamal to be a terrorist and shoot him. You see how dangerous it is.
I think you're making perfect sense. And I want to end on that note, because Justice Kaju making the point that the rule of law must reign supreme. That if they are found by a judge to be terrorists, then of course they must be terrorists. But how many people have been arrested, put in jail for many hours, labeled SIMI terrorists and ultimately released because there was no evidence against them? That reality exists. It cannot be ignored. You can't get carried away in this whole hoopla around nationalism, patriotism, that you forget the basics. The basics is the Constitution reigns supreme, the law must prevail. That, I think, is important. Justice Kaju, for talking so much sense. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks also to GVL Narasimha Rao for coming and presenting the BJP's perspective. We're slipping into a break. A lot more when we come back on the other side. Stay with us. We're back shortly. With us on the newsroom. India today has maximum deployment along the line of control in the international boundary, where escalation with Pakistan is getting even more intense. Every single day, huge amounts of cross-border firing. But a one-year-old girl by the name of Pari has become the face of this exchange. Her family members are dead. She went through a 2.5-hour operation today. Ashwini Kumar files the story.
Little Pari celebrated her first birthday barely 2 months ago. Now, she lies suffering on a hospital bed in Jammu. Spots of blood near her pillow, her neck bandaged, an intravenous drip inserted into her tiny hands, her tiny fingers curled in pain. On Tuesday, Pari celebrated Bhai Dooj with her entire family in Samba's Rangroor village. 3 of her aunts and her cousins too had come over. But even as the sweet boxes were being opened, darkness engulfed the family.
You can see the plastic small car for the children, and the small children, they were playing on these plastic car, and they were the targets. And 2 children of grandchildren of Mararam, they are no more. One grandchildren, Pari, she is being operated, and she is in critical condition.
Pakistan's guns boomed, shattering the calm, claiming 4 members of this baby's family. Pari's father, Rakesh Kumar, an army jawan, had come home for Diwali to celebrate with his family and spend time with little Pari. But the light of the diyas and firecrackers went out for him. 4 of his family were killed in Pakistani shelling. His father, sister, nephew and niece.
You can see the condition of the house where this mortar shell has hit, and Mararam is no more. He is one of the daughter, she is no more, and 2 grandchildren, they also died in the blast.
On Wednesday, Rakesh Kumar could barely limp to the spot where this soldier lit his father's funeral pyre.
कब तक जब पाकिस्तानी को गोली सहन करेंगे? जब गोली आती है, बहुत बड़े बड़े बम आते हैं ना, तो बेचारे बहुत बेदोष लोग मारे जाते हैं. क्या करेंगे, कहाँ जाएंगे?
जनाब गुस्सा खाता जिले कल एकड़ी हालत हुई है क्या जिस तरीके से मुड़े पाइए मोटरसाइकिल पर पहुंचे लाशा होले उन्हें क्या गवर्नमेंट कुछ गवर्नमेंट का फर्ज बनता कोई बंदोबस्त करना चाहिए एम्बुलेंस होंगी और सारा कोई जीव बचे.
As Pakistan continues to breach the ceasefire and target civilians along the line of control and international border, public anger mounts. BJP protesters in Jammu are seeking a government offensive against Pakistan. Even as this little girl recovers from her grievous neck wounds, her shattered family and the entire nation prays for the speedy recovery of this innocent victim of Pakistani savagery. With Ashwini Kumar in Samba sector on the international border, Bureau Report, India Today.
Very disturbing, the story of Pari. Our thoughts and prayers with her. We hope she recovers. This is where we wrap up the newsroom tonight. I look forward to seeing you at 10 p.m. tomorrow evening with another action-packed edition of the newsroom. Till then, from the entire newsroom team, goodbye, good night.